want to welcome everyone to the YWCA Stand Against Racism series. We'll start off by thanking the Regis Foundation for having the vision of providing support for us to have these discussions. The YWCA's mission of eliminating racism, empowering women, promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all is part of the reason that we do this work, and it's very important work. We like to offer a forum so that people in the Nashville and Middle Tennessee community, and really beyond, since we're on Zoom, we can kind of go beyond the borders of our region to invite them to these conversations. And we want to have a safe space for people to be able to express themselves in their true, authentic selves.
My first real exposure to learning about the depths of racism that all people, but especially athletes, experience was through that paper that I first wrote about Perry, and then turned that into a book about Perry Wallace 17 years later. And Perry also had this phrase that he used to use about, in his life, he had many mentors, but also many, M-I-N-I, mentors, and he would take advantage of even just, one conversation with someone to learn.
But I think about Perry and I think about David, it's diversity. Diversity is Perry coming to Vanderbilt, but inclusion would have been Perry feeling comfortable and affirmed and supported in the space.
My call to action is really for us collectively to make not just a pledge, but a commitment to treat people better on an individual level. Because if we can treat each other better on an individual level, it will transform how we treat people collectively.
When I think about privilege, and it's oftentimes a word that many of us shy away from even talking about, it makes us uncomfortable, but it's necessary to discuss. Because the intersection of racism and policing, when I think about that, I think about, honestly, a 16-wheeler doing 90 miles per hour on a black ice highway with no brakes. I mean, it is inevitable that it's going to crash into each other because we've been on this pathway for years.
When we think that all immigrants, all immigrant origin families, and we put them in a category, in a bucket, say that all of them are afraid and scared of deportations. Yes, for many of us, that is the case. But we're also concerned about police brutality, equity, training, safety, neighborhoods.
We just believe in just being there for our people when, in most cases, they feel that they have been forgotten. And the experiences of the people that we come in contact with, their experiences with the police, most of them feel as if there's no accountability.
We're talking about the Muslim community. Obviously, it's not a racial group, but what has happened over time is the racialization of Muslims. So everyone sees our community, no matter how diverse we are, as one single monolithic group, and that's Muslims. And with that comes all the stereotypes.
And so when you look at the history of policing post-slavery, you look at the Jim Crow laws, you look at the brutality, Rodney King, other incidents around the country, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, a lack of having, treating people as people. We need people to get involved. Let's get off the sidelines. Let's get in the game. Let's get everyone involved, and let's work together.
The intersection of racism and this pandemic is so far-reaching, and it literally strikes a chord in every area that you can possibly speak to when we think about life as a whole.
You think about the fact that 43% of Black and Latino people work frontline jobs and cannot telecommute. Compare that to about 25% of white workers. So off the bat, you have people of color who have greater exposure to the virus just simply because of the types of jobs that they have.
Legacy of distrust and research abuse, but also segregated care still has remnants today in how we deliver care, where testing would have been provided, opportunities to access information, and of course, whether or not communities of color actually trust the information that they're getting from us.
We've got to talk more about how we give access to the disenfranchised, and specifically in my field of work, how do we give access to parents? How do we give access to students? How do we give access to teachers when they've always felt like whatever system they work in isn't one where they should be heard in?
So I made sure to try to hire teachers that look like them, because I think it's important for people to see people that look like them in the classroom. Children need to see someone that looks like them so that they know that thing is attainable. So now the bar is up with Kamala, that now children know, hey, I can be the vice president, I can be the president because of Barack. They have to see representation in order to know.
I don't want anyone to walk out of here feeling hopeless. A human being, we're dynamic creatures. We can tackle complex issues, and education is a complex issue. It is not a fixed issue. So because it's a complex issue, it'll need all of us to participate in it, not just those who are guardians or parents of kids or those who are educators in the system. It'll take the whole community to collectively work together to solve the complex issue.